if you look at three-row SUVs in the premium segment, there are very few options that you can work with, and the Kodiaq is one of the better ones. This is the brand new second generation version. What does it offer? What are the improvements? How is it to drive? And is it a three-row SUV for you? We find out today in our video. By now, you would have seen our first walk-around video of the brand new Škoda Kodiaq. So what is the Kodiaq all about? Well, it's been their huge success worldwide and in India. It's a three-row SUV that they've manufactured. They've sold almost 1 million of these in the first generation version, including over 10,600 cars that they sold in India, which is a big success. Of course, since it's a brand new generation, it's the second gen car on an evolved MQB37 platform, if I'm not wrong, that is the nomenclature for that. You also get new styling. So you get that new aggressive Skoda grille. This has become, it's a very toothy grille too. Put it one way, it's becoming a signature of Skoda's design language. You get new LED headlights, you get a wider front bumper. In fact, the front has a pretty imposing view. You also get this sort of recessed power dome hood. Lots of fine lines, lots of edgy styling going on. 18-inch wheels. What you'll notice about the wheels is that they're aerodynamic. And aerodynamics is something that Skoda is really focused upon in the second generation of the Kodiaq. You get active brake cooling. You get lots of improvements done. So much so that from original aerodynamic coefficient of 0.33 in the first gen version, this is down to 0.28. Skoda also claims that benefits quite a bit in the fuel efficiency figures of the Kodiaq. That's something we'll have to see while we are driving it very shortly. When you move to the side, you'll notice first it's got mirrors that are designed specifically to get the aerodynamic coefficient down. The sides are an interesting touch. One, you get a big glass house, which is good because you also get a big window for the third row, which means that people or passengers sitting in the third row won't feel claustrophobic. You also get this big shoulder line running almost the length of the car and even carrying on to the back. The rear is an interesting touch, LED tail lights. This might seem like it's a full width tail light like I thought during a walk around, but it's not. It's just a decorative piece. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. There are enough differences between this and the older car to make it stand apart. And while the new Kodiaq is longer, bigger, more spacious, I still think it's a pretty imposing looking machine and cuts a fine figure out onto the road. How is it to sit inside? What are the features like? How is it to drive? Let's find out. Of course, while the Kodiaq gets a major upgrade on the outside, a new platform, revised engine, more improvements to it, I think the biggest and the most impressive part of the Kodiaq is going to be the upgrades to the interior. Any existing Kodiaq owner, when they'll sit in this second generation car, will immediately realize how much of an upgrade this is. As you can see, you've got a brand new design. It feels a lot more premium, and the color schemes and all have also been improved. So I quite like these coffee, caramel, whatever you want to call them, brown colored seats. They're large, they're very spacious. You've got leather inserts into the dash. You've also got recycled materials being used inside the cabin, which I think is an interesting touch, not just from a sustainability point of view, but also from the point of view that it gives it a unique design look. In the night, you'll see the mood lighting, the accent lighting inside the car. You can change the colors. It's been very well integrated. In fact, in my walk around, I was talking about how it's a nice touch that the accent lighting in the car, whichever color you've chosen for the inside, for right now, it's a typical Skoda green if you see it in the evening or in the night. But if you have the door open with the car static, the mood lighting inside the car will turn to red just to indicate that the door is open. So I think those are nice, small, as they say, simply clever touches. Something I really like, another simply clever touch, they even give you a cleaner to clean the screen, because in our weather, with the sweat, with the humidity, with the heat, I hate seeing fingerprint marks on the screen. So I think these are simply nice touches. What I also spoke about in my walk around are these three smart knobs. They're a combination of physical knobs as well as a touchscreen. For instance, the center knob, and you can program it, can control up to 6 functions. Currently, it's configured to either give you, you touch the touchscreen and it changes the main function. And with the toggle, you can switch between the options of the function. Right, currently it has, for instance, you can change the driving modes. I can go from eco to normal to sport, mountains, snow, etc., etc. I can then tap the button and I can control the fan speed of the air conditioning. I can also tap the button once again and control the volume of the music system. Uh, the other big upgrade is the digital aspect. 10.25-inch driver information display. You get all the functions here. 13-inch main display, wireless Apple CarPlay, of course, and fitted with the Canton music system. That actually sounds pretty nice. On the safety front, as you would expect from a Skoda, it well feels and is built very solidly. You get 9 airbags as well as a host of active safety systems, including ABS, ESP, etc., etc. The other big thing about the Kodiaq is that Skoda's redone the packaging. The car slightly longer than the earlier version, 4.8 odd meters, which means there's pretty good space in the second row of seats. And even in the third row, they've improved the seating a little bit. Is it 100% comfortable for long journeys for full-size adults? I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. I'll give you the verdict on that when we get more time to spend with the Kodiaq, but I would think it's slightly more comfortable. The boot also, even with all 3 rows being used, has a decent amount of space, slightly higher than the earlier model. And of course, if you put down the third row, it's just about 700-800 liters, and if you put down the second row, it's massive. So all those practicalities are built in, the features are built in. Panoramic sunroof, like I said, the audio system, the 2-spoke steering wheel, still an interesting touch. I'm warming up to the whole design. I still don't think it's the perfect looking thing, but yeah, with the big Skoda badging now, I think it looks better. And of course, they freed up a lot of space in the center console for you to keep your phones, your keys, your cup holder and everything, because they've moved the gear lever onto a stalk right here. That works very interestingly. It's something that you might take a day or two to get used to, because once you're used to it, it becomes very, very intuitive to operate. You would be wondering if the Kodiaq has any major changes to its powertrain, and well, it doesn't have any major changes. It still features a 2-liter TFSI turbocharged petrol engine with a 7-speed DSG gearbox and all-wheel drive, but it's been upgraded. The gearbox, the all-wheel drive system, all of that has been worked on. So the engine now puts out 201 bhp, 320 Nm of torque. Feels quite nice to drive. I'll tell you more about it in my driving impressions. The interesting thing about the Kodiaq, though, is that Skoda, based on customer feedback, is going to bring back a Kodiaq diesel into India. It'll be a CBU unit. This one is manufactured in India, not just a CKD, it's more than a CKD. It has localized parts too, which means the duty structures, let's say, lower than what you would get in a CBU. We'll talk about more when we are driving. But yeah, so currently it's petrol only, all-wheel drive, 7-speed DSG, but you can expect a diesel unit in the near future. How does it ride? Well, I still think, like all Skoda products, the ride is a bit stiff, especially on Bombay's broken and sometimes non-existing roads. So yeah, the ride would be slightly on the stiffer side, but nothing to complain about. I mean, you won't feel uncomfortable. And especially on highways, especially in the new highways we have, and the higher speeds that you can do, it feels extremely stable, and very good to drive. The engine is also super responsive. I've been driving it in normal and in sport mode, and in both, the engine responds fantastically well. 201 horsepower, 320 Nm. Power delivery is instant. The gearbox is super quick. In fact, this in the new generation of DSGs is getting better and better, even in urban sort of traffic. They respond very well, which was a bit of a weak spot in the earlier generations. The steering's good. It gives you a pretty decent amount to feel. But like you can see at these, when we're going over potholes, the ride can be a little bit, that's probably the only compromise you're making here. So overall, I would think the Kodiaq is a terrific upgrade to what was, uh, even till recently, a very, very competent product. Like I said in my introduction of the Kodiaq, if you're looking for a luxury 3-row SUV that's still fairly affordable, you've got very few options. I'm not a big fan of the Fortuner, and that literally leaves the Kodiaq pretty much the only option you have. And Skoda's also turned up its service game. So the Kodiaq now comes with standard 5-year warranty, 125,000 kilometers or 5 years, whichever is first. You can, they give you the first year of servicing, and everything included in it is absolutely free. You can take packs of that up to 5 years, and you can even extend the warranty from the standard 5 years to up to 8 years. So they're obviously working on making sure that their perception of being expensive, to maintain and being somewhat troublesome is something that customers get rid of, and they're really investing confidence into their products. Now comes the ultimate point. What is the pricing of the Kodiaq going to be like? So we don't know yet. Of course, by the time you see this video on the 17th, you will have an idea. Since it's built in India, like I said earlier, they've localized a certain amount of parts, which means the duties that the government charges them, the customs duties, are lower. I would think under 50 would be a really good price, considering how expensive all of the cars and everything else is becoming by now. So that probably would be the only big deal. But if you're in the market, and if my pricing estimation is correct, looking for a 3-row SUV, at under 50, the Kodiaq would be a very, very recommended choice. And like I said earlier, they're also bringing in the diesel version of the Kodiaq sometime soon. They haven't decided on the timeline, but it will come. However, that will be a CBU, so expect that to be quite a bit pricier than the petrol model. But yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying driving the Kodiaq, and I think it's a great upgrade to what was already a very good car.